Good morning. Welcome to the press. And yes, welcome to the 90th day in the month of January. Yes, I just have to keep saying it. January is just crawling like a snail, refusing to go. Yes, indeed. There are a lot of people who say that we actually have 200 days in January. I totally agree with them. I don't know about you. All right, this is your show. Thanks for joining us. It's always nice to know that you sit back and you wait for the show to start. Monday to Friday, bringing you information, keeping you abreast of happenings all over the nation. And of course, when we have the time, we bring you stories from across the seas. My name is Anire Binitie. Welcome once again. On the show this morning, we do the usual. We'll start with our weather report. We'll progress to the front pages of our papers. And of course, we'll bring in our guests. The phone lines are opened. You can call in and be part of the conversation. You guys don't call anymore. We do hope that today will be different. You call in and be part of the conversation once the phone lines are opened. So together, we'll run the show. All right, let's start off today with our first weather update, which is from Edo State. Edo is first on the weather forecast updates this morning. Partly cloudy conditions expected around 8 a.m. It's already 9 a.m., so it's going to be cloudy in Edo State. That's the implication. Mostly cloudy indeed. However, right now it is 27 degrees Celsius in Edo State. It will rise to 29 degrees Celsius. It will go further to 31 degrees Celsius by 11 a.m. and by 12 p.m. 32 degrees Celsius. Highs at 35 degrees and lows at 24. Away from Edo State, Delta State is up next. Delta, sunny conditions are expected around 10 a.m. It is 28 degrees Celsius in Delta right now. By 10 a.m., 30. By 11 a.m., 31 degrees Celsius. And by 12 p.m., 33 degrees Celsius. Wind gusts are up to 4 kilometers per hour. Highs at 35 degrees and lows at 24. Away from Delta, Bayelsa is up next. Let's take a look at Bayelsa State. Sunny conditions expected in Bayelsa around now, just a few minutes past 9 o'clock in the morning. Meanwhile, it is 28 degrees Celsius in Bayelsa. Today is going to be a sunny day in Bayelsa. You can see the sun is not playing at all. Bayelsa is going to be hot, hot today. By 10 a.m., it will rise to 29 degrees Celsius. By 11 a.m., 31 degrees Celsius. By 12 p.m., 33 degrees Celsius. And it will go on and on like that. Wind gusts are up to 5 kilometers per hour. Highs at 36 degrees Celsius and lows at 25 degrees Celsius. All right, let's take a look at our next state, which is Rivers. Rivers is up next. Rivers State, sunny conditions expected in Rivers State around 4, 5, 6 p.m. Meanwhile, it is 28 degrees Celsius in Rivers State right now. By 10 a.m., it will rise to 30 degrees Celsius. By 11 a.m., 31 degrees Celsius. And by 12 p.m., 33 degrees Celsius. Wind gusts are up to 6 kilometers per hour. Highs at 35 degrees Celsius and lows at 25. We're not done. We have more for you this morning. Let's take a look at Enugu. Enugu is up next. Enugu is next. It is 27 degrees Celsius in Enugu right now. It will rise to 29 degrees Celsius by 10 a.m. By 11 a.m., 31 degrees Celsius. And by 12 p.m., 32 degrees Celsius. Sunny conditions expected around 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Wind gusts are up to 6 kilometers per hour. Highs at 35 degrees Celsius and lows at 22. Imo is next. Let's take a look at Imo. Imo State. We do have Imo today. Yes, there we have Imo Sunny conditions expected around 10 a.m. in Imo. Meanwhile, it is 27 degrees Celsius in Imo this morning. By 10 a.m., it will rise to 29 degrees. By 11 a.m., 31 degrees Celsius, and by 12 p.m., 32 degrees Celsius. Imo today, too, is going to be hot, hot. Highs at 34 degrees Celsius and lows at 23. Wind gusts are up to 4 kilometers per hour. Away from Imo, let us jet off now to Lagos. Let's take a look at Lagos. Lagos State. Let's go to Lagos. We have Lagos this morning, and partly cloudy conditions are expected around 1 p.m. in Lagos. Meanwhile, it is 28 degrees Celsius in Lagos this morning. We have updates till 10 a.m., which is 29 degrees Celsius. And believe me, it's going to go on and on all through the day. Highs at 32 degrees Celsius and lows at 26. Wind gusts are up to 6 kilometers per hour. All right, let's return to Abuja. Abuja is next. Let's take a look at the forecast for Abuja this morning. I know I have Abuja. Okay. Partly cloudy conditions have started already in Abuja. It started as early as 8 a.m. It is 27 degrees Celsius now in Abuja. Abuja is always very hot. By 10 a.m., 30 degrees Celsius. By 11 a.m., 31 degrees Celsius. And by 12 p.m., 33 degrees Celsius. Partly cloudy conditions will continue all day. Wind gusts are up to 10 kilometers per hour, the highest since today. Highs at 35 degrees Celsius and lows at 21. All right, Nasarawa is up next. Let's take a look at Nasarawa State. What the weather forecast for Nasarawa is today. Cloudy conditions are expected in Nasarawa State, started since 8 a.m. It is 27 degrees Celsius in Nasarawa. By 10 a.m., it will rise to 31. By 11 a.m., 32, and by 12 p.m., 34. Wind gusts are up to 5 kilometers per hour with highs at 37 degrees and lows at 27. All right, Niger State is next. Let's take a look at Niger. Niger State this morning, it is 27 degrees Celsius in Niger. It will rise to 30 by 10 a.m. By 11 a.m., 33, and by 12 p.m., 34. Mostly sunny day in Niger State today. Highs at 37 degrees Celsius and lows at 22. Wind gusts are up to 22 kilometers per hour, the highest so far. All right, we have more as we begin to round up. Let's take a look at Benue. Benue this morning. Benue State, sunny conditions expected around 10 a.m. However, it is 26 degrees in Benue this morning, just a few minutes past 9. By 10 a.m., it will rise to 29 degrees Celsius. By 11 a.m., 32 degrees Celsius, and by 12 p.m., 34 degrees Celsius. Highs at 37 degrees and lows at 20. Wind gusts are up to 30 miles per hour, 30 kilometers per hour. All right, let's take a look at Jos. Jos is up next. Jos is up next. It is 22 degrees Celsius in Jos, mostly cloudy day in Jos. By 10 a.m., it will rise to 25 degrees Celsius. By 11 a.m., 27 degrees Celsius. And by 12 p.m., 29. Wind gusts are up to 11 kilometers per hour. Highs at 30 degrees and lows at 15. All right, Kano is up next. Kano State. Sunny conditions will continue all day in Kano. It is 21 degrees Celsius in Kano. You can see the sun is not playing in Kano. No clouds at all. No clouds. The sun is sunning in Kano this morning or all through today. By 10 a.m. it will rise to 24 degrees Celsius. By 11 a.m. 27 degrees Celsius. And by 12 p.m. 29 degrees Celsius. Highs at 33 degrees Celsius and lows at 16. Wind gusts are up to 12 kilometers per hour. Kaduna is up next, which is our last weather forecast update. Kaduna, partly cloudy conditions are expected around 11 a.m. Meanwhile, it is 23 degrees Celsius in Kaduna right now. It will rise to 27 degrees Celsius by 10 a.m. By 11 a.m., 30 degrees Celsius, and by 12 p.m., 32 degrees Celsius. Wind gusts are up to 22 kilometers per hour. Highs at 35 degrees Celsius and lows at 18 degrees Celsius. There you have it, our weather report update this morning. And we are done with that, done and dusted. We're moving on now to the front pages of our papers this morning. And this morning, I'm going to start with the Punch. I know I have the Punch somewhere, though I can't see it. Okay, let's start with the Nigerian. Okay, I've seen the Punch. Let's start with the Punch this morning. The Punch newspaper has the screaming headlines: counter-insurgency campaigns, U.S. votes $413 million for security operations in Nigeria, others. With a wider 2026 Fiscal Act backs African Bureau as U.S. AFRICOM tracks Russia's military ambitions. That's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And above the mast, 2027, Atiku's son joins APC, backs Tinubu's re-election. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this came as one of the shockers of 2026. Something tells me we're going to be seeing more of these shockers in 2026. This is January, and if you follow the news and the trend, especially the political space, you know there's a lot happening there, from River State to the unfolding, and of course our work, our gradual work, or should I say gradual? In fact, it has gone beyond gradual to fast-paced. Nigeria becoming a one-party state. You know, we toyed with these words often. We've toyed with them before, but somehow, I don't know about your reality, it's beginning to appear so. On the show this morning, let me tell you up front, this is some of the issues, in fact, the focus, the balance of our issue today as we take a look at the Nigerian political space, the cross-carpeting, the defections, and of course, this particular one that happened now. In fact, I can't even imagine what is going on in the Atiku family right now. You know, there's a lot happening in the political space as we, you know, trudge forward towards 2027. I've said this before, that was in 2025, that this is the first time in my very young age, don't ask me, that I have actually been caught up in the politics of Nigeria. I've never seen it as heated as it is right now. In fact, if you agree with me, this gallop, this work, this run started since 2023. The dust of the 2023 election and other ones settled before the road, the run, you know, towards 2027 began. I know this is my reality. I don't know about yours. So today on the show, we shall be taking a look at these unveiling situations. Now, still on the front page of the Punch this morning, Rivers crisis, Assembly shelves a sitting amid rumored plot against Speaker. There's a lot happening in Nigeria. Away from that story, a laughing kicks as Makinde installs Ladija chairman of Others Council. All right, we have more on the front page of the Punch. Armed Forces Day, Tinubu governor celebrates soldiers of fallen heroes. Yes, indeed, there's a need for us to celebrate our soldiers and our fallen heroes, those who through blood and sweat have ensured that Nigeria remains one entity unbroken. Yes, we all in KAFTAN television, we salute the soldiers, and of course we remember the fallen heroes. Talking about fallen heroes, I had one in my family. My mother's younger brother, David Sage, paid the price for the sanctity and the unity of Nigeria during the Nigerian Civil War. He went and never returned, and today I joined forces to celebrate my uncle, to celebrate fallen heroes, every family who had one, using David Sage as, you know, the pedestal to celebrate our fallen heroes this morning. May their soul rest in peace. And for a few seconds, I'll bow my head as you all join me as we say a little prayers to our fallen heroes. Yes, indeed. May their soul rest in peace, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. All right, we go on to our next paper this morning, which is The Guardian. The Guardian newspaper, how 300% cost spike, drug rationing turned diabetes to death threat. How 300% cost spike, drug rationing turned diabetes to death threat. Armed Forces resolute against terrorism, says CDS, amid pauses about Tinubu's absence. Yes, that too caught like a knife. The fact that our president was absent during the Armed Forces Day of Remembrance, it has gathered a lot of dust. The discussion is all over the social airspace, and Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians have questioned his absence during this, Remembrance Day. The price being paid by our soldiers, and of course the recall to mind of our fallen heroes. Everyone expected the president to be here, during this time. But it is what it is. It has happened. All we ask for is for emotions to run, slow, and for people to take what they see and hope for a better day. For Barra's impeachment stalls as lawmakers failed to reconvene. Okay, we're watching that space and that story. Sometime last week, it was our focus here, and I asked the question, lightning striking 3 times for Barra, first, second, third, would he leave this time? I asked my guest, no concrete answers were given, and of course, the answer is still in the air. NESG projects 5.5% growth, 16% inflation in 2026, once against policy reversals. U.S. sanctions a foreign airline battle drop in passenger traffic. Federal government also deal promises improved post-service welfare for academic staff. That's good news. Above or just below the mask, Kano Governor Deputy pathways over defection. Alleged 110.4 billion naira fraud. EFCC tenders fresh bank records against Yaya Bello others. More banks meet recapitalization threshold as tally exceeds 20. Yes, The Guardian also has a story. Atiku son dumps PDP for APC, backs Tinubu's second term. All right, let's take a look at This Day newspaper. This Day newspaper is up next. And just below the mast there, Atiku son affects APC vows to mobilize for Tinubu's re-election. Tinubu will never forget those who sacrificed everything for our country. Salute families, widows, children, loved ones of fallen heroes, says their loss profound. Atiku Obi, governors PDP, ADC, others honor the fallen heroes. Above the mass, Edwin, federal government achieved 85% capital expenditure execution in 2024, pushes global competitiveness. 2024 too far now. We want to take a look at 2025. We will want an update, such update for 2025, which is just a few days ago, not 2024. So these are the updates that we want, but as fresh as possible. They should have come in 2025. That is a few days into January. Would have gotten this update. We don't want updates from 2024. Please give us update from 2025, because 2024 is as thin as air in our memory. IMF warns against policy reversal, urges Nigeria to stay the course on reforms. Inflation eases to 15.15%. Okay. 1966 coup. ACF, NEF, others mark 60 years of Sardauna's association. Shatima Akpabio Kalu honor fallen heroes. All right, let's move on to the Nigerian Tribune. The Nigerian Tribune is our next paper, and it says relief for exporters, importers, banks as Nigeria exits EU financial high-risk list. I take that again. Relief for exporters, importers, banks as Nigeria exits EU financial high-risk list. We have three riders, a national economy to grow by 4.7%. The finance minister to grow. That is based on probability. We need concrete, we need clear vision, we need information that would show clearly where our direction is. Seriously, says country has shifted from stabilization to consolidation. Headline inflation eased to 15.5% in December 2025, NBS. Above the mass, VAT is on charges collected by banks on customers' transactions, says NRS. Still, this is still Spanish to a lot of us. God help us. Shatima Akpabio governors service chiefs, others honor fallen heroes. Shatima Akpabio governors service chiefs, others honor fallen heroes. ADC raises concern over president's absence. Okpadokun's gun hegemony rekindles debate on federalism, democracy. And in health, exercise like medicines can ease depression symptoms, says study. Man, there's a lot of depression this season in Nigeria, I'm telling you. There's a lot of depression, but people are battling depression because of the obvious, the economy, standard of living, falling standard of living, as it were. So this morning, the front page of the Nigerian Tribune says exercise like medicine can ease depression symptoms. So start exercising. Let's see if it will be of help. Try it, and of course, you will know if there's an improvement in your health. Alafin absent as Olubadan emerges chairman or Royal Council of Obas and Chiefs, marking the revived council 15 years after. 2026 budget for 344.8 billion naira retained for National Assembly. Science, technology, innovation to spend. Let me get a figure, 838.6 billion naira. Foreign Affairs gets 344.04 billion naira. All right, we have more papers. We've done the Vanguard. Have we done the Vanguard? Okay, Vanguard is up next. Let's take a look at the Vanguard. The Vanguard newspaper says 152 trillion naira debt driven by forex rates adjustment reforms, says Finance Minister. 152 trillion naira debt driven by forex rates adjustment reforms, Finance Minister. Says a 30 trillion naira ways and means now recognized. Insists debt rise driven by forex revaluation, not fresh borrowing. Okay. 2025 deficit at 3.4% of GDP shows fiscal resilience. Experts react. In fact, I want to suggest that most of these updates should be done in Pidgin English. And I promise that if I get if I have updates like this in Pidgin, I would read it right here. So, Nigerians can really follow and understand all the grammar, understand and between the lines and really see the direction the country is going. So everyone will be carried along. In fact, we have papers in Hausa and Yoruba. I think we should have more papers in other languages. Vanguard over this top papers should try as much as possible, even if for the weekend, to translate some of these into our vernacular or into our mother tongue so we can follow and understand. Even me understand some of this grammar. Seriously. That's just the way it is. Between the lines, sometimes it gets blurry. Now, moving on, the gun hegemony, how military incursion arrested Nigeria's growth, Anyoko Amuka, Okpadokun, others. So on Vanguard, Rivers Assembly fails to resume amid impeachment saga. Armed Forces Remembrance Day, Chinedumuije-Social governors others pay tributes to fallen heroes. Abducted doctor in a day gains freedom after 50 million naira ransom. All right, let's move on. Let's move on now to the Daily Sun. The Daily Sun is our next paper. I won't forget slain soldiers. Tinubu, Akpabio, others honor fallen heroes. Governors emphasize lessons from scars of Nigeria's history to learn from 1966 coup civil war. Editor for Tinubu's absence at Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration. Court fixes March 16 for DSS to open case against 2 Ansari commanders. Dangote cement targets 90 million tons, splashes 15 billion naira on distributors. All right, let's move on to the blueprint. The blueprint is up next. The blueprint newspaper this morning, Nigeria's GDP heading towards 5.5% growth in 2026, says the NESG. Improved macroeconomic stability, fragile country cannot afford to pause. We are entering consolidation phase, says Edwin. EU removes nation from high-risk financial list. New tax regimes will boost disposable income, cut cost of living, says Oyedele. We have more. Dangote splashes 15 billion naira on cement distributors at awards night. NFF will decide my future with Super Eagles Chile or Chile, says the Super Eagles coach. Remembrance Day, Tinubu, Fubara, Mba, Makinde, others honor fallen heroes, 7 troops. All right, let's move on to our next paper. Let's take a look at the matrix. The matrix this morning. Armed Forces Remembrance Day, Nigeria honors fallen soldiers. Nigeria celebrates exit from EU's AML and CFT high-risk category. Edwin reaffirms Nigeria's commitment to sustaining, deepening AML and CFT reforms. Nigeria's inflation rises to 15.15% in December 2025, NBS. And on entertainment, don't play for Nigeria if you're not committed, comedian Bovi. Nigeria losing that match to Morocco. In fact, I cannot even tell you how the pain in my heart still aches. Well, we still have the third place to play, but there's nothing like winning, you know. But we have to give it to our boys. They played with their hearts. For me, they tried. Let's just pray that, we, come back home with something from this particular AFCON. Okay, away from that, Budget Office corrects false narrative on NEDC allocation. NRS 7.5% VAT on banking fees not introduced by new tax laws. All right, more paper. The Daily Monitor. Let's take a look at the Daily Monitor. The Daily Monitor, I don't coerce my children in matters of conscience. Let me go back. Atiku on son's defection to the APC. I don't coerce my children in matters of conscience. Insists working with like-minded patriots to restore good governance. It could be pain. I can imagine the pain in that house and the pain in the heart of Atiku right now. All this, this is English. Let's talk about the heart. I can imagine the confusion right now. Well, we'll take a look at these issues when my guests get here. So let's move on. Police arraign Facebook influencer over alleged defamation of Akwa Ibom governor. I didn't say I won't join APC, Kwankwanso, all right? Things are getting clearer. Nigeria's inflation rate stood at 15.15% in December, says the NBS. Ubasani targets $450 million US annually from Kaduna Poultry Project. Journalists commence fundraising for abducted colleague in Kaduna as bandits insist on 500 million naira. All right, let's go to the Nigerian. We have the Nigerian this morning. Stakeholders raise concerns, say Nigeria's democracy under siege. Says justice in Nigeria no longer blind but transactional, in favor of rich, powerful, political or politically connected. Okay. Abducted Oyo APC chieftain recounts ordeal, expresses gratitude to party others. Oborawore service commanders, others honor Nigeria's fallen heroes. Insecurity, Sokoto government clarifies, refutes alleged viral video and bandits chasing residents. Ubasani minister meet on poultry project projected to annually generate $450 million groundbreaking. Weavers, Wike and a body of benches silence. All right, the Whistler is our next paper. The Whistler this morning is our Friday edition. We have more papers today. The Whistler 2026 budget faces funding. 2026 budget faces funding test as economists propose monetizing 43 trillion naira federal government assets. Warn against funding budget with excessive borrowing. Court dismisses federal government suit against Natasha for alleged defamation. Federal government develops 40 regulations for new tax laws implementation. VAT targets bank charges, not customers' funds, says NIS. Nigerians divided as federal government OB, others hail Super Eagles despite AFCON exit. APC shifts decision on Kwankwanso's stringent conditions to Tinubu. Improve forex stability, lower inflation would drop CBN lending rate, Analyst. All right, let's move on now to Business Day. Business Day newspaper. Business Day says the economics behind YouTube movie rush. You want to find out? Then take a look at the paper. And finally, we have more papers to do. Okay, let's take a look at Friday leadership. I thought we were rounding up. Friday leadership this morning, petrol demand surged to 63.7 million liters per day in December, says regulators. Imports dropped to 42.2 million liters per day from 52.1 million liters per day. All right, let's move on to Daily Trust. Daily Trust this morning, Tinubu away as nation honors fallen heroes. Nigeria's economy unstable yet, World Bank, IMF. Our struggles after service, war veterans. ACF, NEF, others decry notes leadership decline. Federal government won't state against peace deals with bandits. All right, Nigerian News Direct is next. Nigerian News Direct 2027 licensing round. Federal government rules out reforms, discretionary award, slashes work guarantee to 1%. EU removes Nigeria others from high-risk list. Students don't need connections to access NEL fund loan, says Soya. And now I can confidently say, finally, the last paper is the Punch Sports Extra this morning at Musa Igebo exclusive. The NFF expected us to lose to Ivory Coast in 2013 and had already bought our return tickets when we won. Everything changed. That was the turning point for us, and we knew the AFCON trophy was ours. 2013, bro, we're talking 2026. Oh, sometimes. AFCON winning experience. Adesanya to make Octagon return March 28. Ronaldo tops highest paid athlete. Old story. Falcons to face Egypt, Zambia in WAFCON 2026. And I dropped my tab. So that is our front pages this morning. If you just joined us, we're done with the weather. We're done with our front pages. We'll take a break now to bring in our guest, hopefully. And of course, in the middle of our conversation, we'll take another break to open the phone line so you can call in and be part of the conversation. Please do call in. You do not want to miss the conversation this morning. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
In a world where information is vital to every individual, a platform where technology is a medium to pass information, you can always catch up on all information written in
headline is dissected and every fact scrutinized.
Start your day right. Join us on the press this morning. You can't afford to miss the press with guests so knowledgeable and articulate.
The World Human Rights Index and Rules of Law shows that Nigeria was ranked 142 in terms of insecurity.
What of the issue of Mahmoud Yakub?
Join us Mondays to Fridays for in-depth analysis from the front page of our national dailies.
Anire Group in U.S. False Candles continue trial, and that's on page 27 for your readers morning.
From the heart of the National Assembly to the pulse of the presidency.
I rise to second this motion as moved by my brother Alije.
And we will work with you.
Breaking news on politics, the economy, business, education, entertainment. No matter the focus, our guests are on ground to do justice on topical issues.
Back on the front page of The Guardian, it says Trump's warning unsettles Nigeria, raises concern over religion and sovereignty.
It's a very big challenge. It's a very big challenge to us in Nigeria.
On the press, every headline is dissected and every fact scrutinized.
Start your day right. Join us on the press this morning.
Yes, welcome back. It is the Press, the People's Program, live from Abuja, KAFTAN Television International. And I did tell you that today we're taking a look at a very, very important topic. 2027, Atiku sons defection to the APC, analysis of Nigeria's political narrative. This is our focus this morning, more of Nigeria's political narrative. We need to take a look at that. But first, you know the way we do, I start with my own analysis. As Nigeria transitions into full election mode for the 2027 general elections, the political temperature is heating up at a scale that puts the country's democracy under intense pressure. The political landscape has been marked by heightened elite bargaining, strategic political realignment, and premature campaigns. These developments reflect a troubling pathology of Nigeria's electoral politics, which relegates governments for the advancement of electoral ambition, says Analyst. Consistent with historical precedent in previous election seasons, political actors are spending less time on governance and paying more attention to getting elected. Policy actions and government programs are structured to advance political aspirations ahead of the elections. Even though the ban on political campaign has not been lifted by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, overt campaign activities began immediately after the 2023 elections. On the balance is a defection of Abubakar, son of former Vice President and 2023 People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar from the People's Democratic Party to the ruling All Progressives Congress, pledging to work for the re-election of President Bola Tinubu in 2027. The defection, announced on Thursday at the National Assembly, Abuja, has been viewed within political circles as a symbolic and strategic blow to Atiku's presidential ambition in a major boost to the APC's consolidation efforts, particularly in the Northeast. Atiku's son has also directed all coordinators and members of his political structure, formerly known as the Haske Atiku organization, which he founded in 2022, to immediately join the APC and mobilize support for President Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda. Yes, that is my analysis, but I have guests in the house. I'm glad to let you know that I have a full house to help us understand, the dynamics of the Nigerian political space and, of course, the unfolding story. Let me begin. I have Ambassador Jeremiah Ibi Agala. He is one of Africa's finest accepted and respected youth leadership strategist and skills development coach, consultant, speaker, and is also a social affairs analyst. It's so nice to have you on the show this morning.
It's a privilege to be here.
Yes, you did tell me you traveled. We thank God for Johnny Mercies. Yes. For you to be here this morning.
That's the prayers now. Every Nigerian prays whenever you are taking a trip, especially by road.
I'm so happy to see you.
It's a privilege.
Thank you for the sacrifice.
So much, yes.
And of course, we have Professor Christopher Chinedumuije. He is a professor of disaster management and humanitarian studies and country director, Gold Prime Organization Nigeria, is also a social affairs analyst. Professor, it's so nice to have you on the show this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a privilege.
So, gentlemen, Nigeria, our home country, the greatest nation in the world, the largest black nation in the world, the place where two rivers meet, a place with great minds, blessed with not just human but natural resources, a land flowing with milk and honey. If you do not believe that, those who look at a country from outside, they see the honey, they see the milk. I don't know what you see. This morning, we're taking a look at the political narrative of our nation. My analysis, I did say that, the transition to 2027 started from 2023. I've never personally seen such zeal, such noise, such force, such confusion, such push towards a new election, even when the dust for the old one even hasn't settled. There's a lot happening in the political space, and just as yesterday, we all woke up to the unimaginable, the almost impossible. Atiku's son moving from the PDP to the APC. But before we delve into all of that, Professor, let me start with you. We're taking a look at Nigeria's political narrative. From the top, please, let us understand. You know, last time you were supposed to come in to talk about River State. River State is still one situation that we try to wrap our minds around. Presently, there's nothing happening there. We've not heard any news about the crisis going forward or going backwards, or being any settlement, or it's just dust, as it were, and the confusion is still on. Let me ask and pick your mind on the Nigerian political space in your own taking right now in 2026, as we work towards the election by June, July. We'll start, politics proper. But even before we get there, a lot has happened. Your take on the situation.
Yeah, thank you so much. Nigeria's political space, it's a very heated space all the time, because a lot of persons have different reasons why they are there. Some persons are there because they love the country. Some persons are there because of their own interests, while some other persons don't even know why they are there. All right, that's why you always have this confusion all the time. Unfortunately, in Nigeria at the moment, we still have not achieved that level where our political space is driven by ideology. At the moment, it's still driven by interest and what can you have within that space at any given time. That's why when people jump from one party to another and they feel the interest is not being met, they also jump ship and all that. And at the end of all this is the political parties that become the devil, because nobody blames the individual jumping the ship. All the time we blame the political party. You see same person in APC saying PDP, it's a terrible party. Tomorrow he's in PDP. PDP becomes a good party. APC is not a terrible party. Next tomorrow he's in Labour Party doing the same thing and all that. So the political party becomes the devil at every time. So my advocacy is that Nigerians, especially the citizens, need to advocate for our political space to evolve into an ideology-driven political space rather than an interest-driven political space.
Yeah, thanks, Prof. Now, Ambassador, I want to ask if you agree with Prof, especially the call for Nigerians to demand for a well-structured political space, one with ideology. I remember as a student in the university, just before the NANS Student Union elections, there's manifesto night. We look forward to the manifesto night. We prepare, we take our bath, we pick up our shoes. It's like, it's a big do. And you set a push because we want to see, we want to hear, we want to read the body movement. We want to study the room. We want to match action with words. We attend a manifesto night. It is a big night on campus. So I understand what you're asking, and that's exactly what I'm asking. Nigerians cannot, if you ask the ideology behind those parties, at the end of the day, most of us can't even really put our fingers on it. So I want to ask if you agree, with the Prof, and of course, if you don't, what do you think or feel about the Nigerian political space right now?
Thank you so much. Once again, it's a privilege to be here, and I'm excited to have this conversation. Like he said, I agree with him completely. Whilst we begin to have conversations around ideologies, I feel the crop of leaders we have, or the crop of politicians we have, do not have that in their agenda at all. So you can't expect somebody to give you what they don't have. They don't have it. And we will keep clamoring for ideology from people who do not even have ideologies for themselves first. Not to talk of even knowing where they want to align with. We have sets of leaders who are not interested in governance, but interested in holding on to power. And that is what had been heating up the political space. From the last elections, alignment and realignment for the next election began from day one. And all Nigerians are craving for, hold on to your power. We're not against you being in power, but all we desire is give us good governance. That's what we've asked for. From when they got into office till today, what one thing can we point to that this current set of leaders have done that had benefited the lives of the average Nigerian? Ranging from security, you're waiting for manifesto. We had several debates. We had several manifestos. There were several things written. And that's why we don't even look forward to those things anymore. Because we have more talk than action. You see people making promises from heaven and you think this is God sent. I tell people we started with the change. And we didn't know what we were getting into until we got into 8 years of absolute disaster. Maybe Prof, who is a Prof of disaster management, will tell us how we navigated through that season.
I really want to know.
Obviously, we were done with that. And they came up to tell us, oh, relax. You are in for a new ride. It's a renewed hope. Nigerians had moved from even having the little hope to having no hope as we speak. Because every day you are faced with one new difficult reality after another. We had renewed hope, and the first thing that was taken off was subsidy. How much of hope can be renewed more than that? And we were plunged into pain, penury. The average Nigerian find it difficult to even get basic food to eat, not to talk about shelter. We left that, we started crying for security. If for nothing, let's be able to travel on our roads. If for nothing, at least allow us fly. How do you tell me that I would want to get a return ticket within Nigeria for over 600, 700,000? That is where we find ourselves. And yet, we are still being told we are under renewed hope. But none of these politicians are even interested in your cry, so you can keep crying for all they care. That's not their interest. Their interest is how to sustain themselves in power for another 4 years, and if they have their way, for another 8 years. Because no politician wants to leave office. That's what the interest is about. Do we have a minister in the FCT? Yes. But how long have you seen him out of the FCT? Because he is interested about the 2027 election far away in Rivers State. And so what happens to the people that he is kept over is not his business. There are insecurity issues every day. Recently, there were people who were killed from one chance in the FCT. People are being abducted every day. And yet, when you give them opportunity to come on air, they speak like they are doing you a favor. They said you should appreciate us for what we've done. Tell us you were doing well. And that's where we find ourselves as a nation.
Now, I want to ask the Prof, and I'm taking from what you said. I really feel the pain and the passion with which you've spoken, and I believe all that you've said, if Nigerians have the opportunity to talk. As journalists, we are on the streets, we ask questions, we mix with the people, we are right there in the grassroots. What you have said is like 99% of the sentiments of Nigerians, but again, that is yours. Just putting, the feel to what he has said. That is the sentiment that we get when we ask. But you did say something that those in power right now, they're holding on to power rather than serving the people. That's what I got from it. Now, Prof, if you gather those in power, we're talking about over 240 million Nigerians. In fact, we do not even know the number. I feel we are over and up to 400 million in the nation. and we have just a few people we elect, because everyone can be there. Everyone can be in the seat of power. Everyone can submit your names to be president, to be governors, to be ministers. You and I voted these people into power. So when we begin to cry, we continue to explain and explode that we do not get the dividends of democracy from these people. But you voted them there. As we discuss about the political narratives in Nigeria, it is important for us at this juncture to talk about the place of you and I in putting people who will serve. These people are servants. They're supposed to serve and give to the people what they want. But, you know, from what we hear and see, it appears it is not so. What's the place of the Nigerian? The next election is just here. What should be the role of the Nigerian man, woman, Nigerian youth in this drive towards 2027 in ensuring we rise above this mediocrity, as it were, that we find ourselves into Eureka?
You know, leadership and governance, it's the responsibility of all Nigerians. The responsibility of all Nigerians. Until Nigerians understand what governance is, what politics is, where politics end and governance begin, we'll continue to have this cycle. In fact, the greatest barriers we have towards development, sustainable development in Nigeria, is not even those in power. It's Nigerians themselves.
Please tell us more. Please explain.
Now, when we look at different governments, you've seen that the government after the previous government always appear to be the saints or the better government. Let's say, for example, the government before, when you say, oh, the government presidency of President Olusegun Obasanjo, they tell you, oh, the presidency of President Olusegun Obasanjo was better than that of Yar'Adua. All right? Goodluck Jonathan came, they tell you the government of Goodluck Jonathan is better than that of, Yar'Adua was better than that of Goodluck Jonathan. Buhari comes, they tell you the government of President Jonathan is better than that of Buhari. Tinubu is there now. People say the president of, what's it called, President Buhari, it's better than Tinubu. And when you ask the question, why do you think so? All right, you hear different reasons. Oh, the things are hard. In fact, in Nigeria, dollar has become the measure of our country's progress. The price of PMS has become the measure of our country's progress. But those are not the measure of progress.
What are the measures of progress?
Now, for example, in 2012, President Goodluck Jonathan attempted to address the subsidy concern. Nigerians took to the street. But at that point, was it a very good decision to make at that point? Yes, it was. All right, because they were trying to open the economy. They were trying to take away that subsidy scam from the hands of the cabals and ensure a free market where investors can come. We have our refineries working and everything. And that will drive with competition that will drive down the price of PMS. All right, but Nigerians sabotaged it. All right, President Buhari came and said, oh, we want to improve, create opportunities for local farmers, all right? So we encourage our rice production, we close the borders, we have restricted products that you cannot import because we believe that those products can be produced in Nigeria. Nigerians protested against it and said, no, it's not going to happen. Because there are some persons who are interested, who make a lot of monies from import. So that idea of shutting down the borders or improving manufacturing, local manufacturing, they were against it. All right. Look at Dangote, for example, that would try to be a success. All right. Why is he a success today? Because he leveraged on Obasanjo's policy on what? Providing waivers for what? to encourage local production, and that boosted his cement production and everything, and it's doing well across several
So
industries.
Nigerians had a problem.
Yes, most of the time, because they don't even understand why they are even supporting their candidates. All right. Now, a lot of persons will tell you, "Oh, we want to rescue Nigeria." You want to rescue Nigeria? Rescue Nigeria from what?
So we don't ask that question.
Yes.
And get the right answers to the latter, to the T.
Absolutely.
What are you rescuing Nigeria from? It's like someone telling you, "I am sorry." And some of us just say, okay,
what are you sorry for?
What are you sorry for?
You want to rescue Nigeria. What are you rescuing Nigeria from? How will you rescue Nigeria? You understand? From what you want to rescue it from. All right? How long is this going to take? How do we measure it? It's just like when everybody was shouting, change, 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 change. But they didn't know that there is a cost for what?
Change.
Change. All right? And if you want to create a change, it means that you have to stop doing the previous things you were doing.
And start doing new things.
And start doing new things. And a lot of persons are already used to the previous things.
So when it changes,
when it comes, people will resist it.
Okay, now I want to ask the ambassador. I want to ask now. We're talking about heightened elite bargaining going on right now. Heightened elite. A lot of people say there's nothing like that, but waking up to the fact that Atiku's son defects from the APC, from the PDP to the APC. Not just that, he is moving with his Haske Atiku, telling not just him, is moving every load, everything to the APC and giving support to the APC. Now, before we even go there, let us talk about the one-party state. Before now, we've heard one-party state, Nigeria can survive, Nigeria will survive, one party. But it seemed to appear that is exactly where we are going when you talk about elite bargaining. I don't know, Ambassador, if you see this happening, becoming a reality, especially with this latest that has happened, that happened just yesterday, Thursday, with Atiku's son defecting. Are we there? Will it happen? Okay. Elite bargaining. Okay. There's a lot going on.
Thank you so much. I would come from his perspective into this.
Okay.
Yes. As much as I agree that Nigerians have a problem, but over the years, politicians and leaders have brought us to a state where poverty is being weaponized. And young people are the bargaining chip here. We've gotten to a point where you ask certain questions and they give you an answer. We're in this country together. There are debates going on every day. There are conversations like this going on every day. We are asking questions and you get answers. Courtesy of some very arrogant media aides or courtesy of allies, you get answers. Sometimes you get body languages as response to questions. Nigerians have been forced to believe certain people and end up being hurt in the process. And so we are in a position today where whatever goes. And that's why you see voter apathy daily. So you begin to ask the question, where is the place of voters? How many votes count in this country? We keep asking the question. You see somebody come on national TV, live broadcast, and he's beating his chest to say, I brought the president from my state. I delivered my state to the president. Have we not had it? Where were the electorates in that matter? Have you not had in this country where people failed an election and our judicial system upturned that election, gave it to the wrong person? Are we not in this country? People have lost faith in that system called the judiciary. We are thinking daily that it would improve, but it gets worse by the day. So where do we as electorate find ourselves in this whole drama? That brings me to your point, that as it stands, there are negotiations of the elites going on. So I don't know how you would want to explain it as we speak, because It's on record. You have people defecting every day to one same party. if somebody cried in the, if they say a witch cried in the night and somebody died in the morning, you should understand what it means. We are in a country where everybody wants to save themselves. And it still goes back to the point, as I've said, politicians are interested in securing power. As at today, whether a governor is performing or not is not your business. It's not a determining factor if he returns. All he needs to do is to move from the party where he is that's not working to the ruling party, and he secured the second term ticket. That's where we find ourselves. So before they move, they have a negotiate. They sit down. What's in it for me? You hear Fubara making noise today. Is it not because of a deal that is on the table for him that he might be guaranteed a second term ticket? So he is now a big boy, and then he's moved to APC. When they were busy doing the dirty jobs, nobody had the story. Today he's building up sentiments around the public to see him as a saint, and then the next person is wrong. As much as I don't stand for any of them, what we have today, let nobody deceive anybody. What we have today is a one-party system.
Okay, on that note, we're going to take a break to open our phone lines. Look, I got caught up with my guest. We ought to have opened it a long time ago. We'll take a break. We'll open the phone lines when we return, and the conversation will continue. Stay with us.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for still being there. And of course, the phone lines are open now. You can be part of the conversation. Let the calls come in now. We're taking a look at 2027 Atiku's son's defection to APC analysis of Nigeria's political narrative. My guests are still here, the ambassador and of course the professor. Now, Professor, let us go straight on now to the matter. At the middle of our conversation is Atiku's son's defection to the APC. Your take?
Yeah, I think every individual has a right to align with whatever party or system they feel will serve them right. Remember earlier I said, people have different reasons why they align with the political party. Some align because they believe that the political party has better prospects for the country. Some align because they feel that they have a lot of things to gain from the party, all right, while some don't even know why they are there, all right. And I believe that Atiku's son is a matured Nigerian, and this is a season where every politician is holding their calculator to do their calculation and all that. Maybe he's also seen that his calculator has also shown him that APC is going to favor his so, and he has done his alignment, and he's also entitled to his choice, and I wouldn't hold him accountable to that.
Okay, so I'll ask you the same, because there's another question we really need to dissect this further. Your reaction to this unfolding situation, Ambassador?
I think I like the calculation part. Maybe I need to have that kind of calculator to see what the end will be. But basically, he has a right to association, and the dad has come out to say his children can do whatever they want. He doesn't stop them. On the surface, that's beautiful. But it also boils down to reality. Politicians do not take unnecessary risk. They take calculated risk. He would have sat down. Now imagine a scenario where in the same house, your dad is contesting for presidency, and you're telling all your structures to collapse into the APC, that you will mobilize national, you do a national mobilization for the re-election of your dad's opponent in an election.
Definitely.
So he then feels that maybe he, Atiku too, had looked at the odds and knows that. But should we be discussing Atiku running for election at this age? If we have a sane country at this age, you have a son who is already running for elections at that level. Wouldn't you have sit down to begin raising young leaders and becoming an elder statesman, which you are, rather than delving into partisan politics? These are conversations we should be having, not at the point where we sit down and say, I can be running, my son can be somewhere else, so we don't lose from both ends, because that is what it is as of today. In case the president wins, you are safe here. In case I win, you're also safe here from the family line. That's what we talk about, elite bargaining as we speak today. What's the interest? On the surface, it looks good, but what's the interest? Are they... How many politicians in this country are willing to lose and go back home peacefully? With the calculations and the high cost of running elections in this country, nobody takes that risk. They know what they are looking for. Look at the situation in Kano today, where the governor, a party brought you into government. You are leaving the party and your leader to go to the APC. The same APC. That's why I think one of the criteria for being a politician in this country is that you have to be shameless. Because you say certain things, and then in the space of months, you are back to your vomit, conveniently and comfortably pretending. In today's world where we have everything said, documented, pretending like you never said it. That's where we find ourselves. And how do you expect from such a person who do not have an integrity, or do not have integrity, to give you good governance?
Now that's a big question, and I'm going back to the professor. Taking a look at the situation holistically, Nigeria is not like an island. In fact, Nigeria is a global nation. The whole world is focused here. A lot is happening. River State is there. You talked about Kano. And now this particular situation where Atiku's son leaves his father behind, leaves the party behind, and moves to the APC.
He's the father behind, actually.
And is taking everything along with him. It's like a tsunami happening right now. How do you think the outside, talking about people outside Nigeria, what does this portend for our democracy? Actions like this that we've seen unfolded from 2023, 2024, 2025, it got heated up in 2025, and this is January 2026. We'll walk up to River State again, and now we've seen a lot happening in the political space, and this is one that hit like a punch. How do you think, people will rate? What is the effect of this in our political calibration, and of course, how people will see this unfolding in Nigeria politically?
I think the world also believes that every Nigerian or every human has a right to association.
Okay.
All right? They can believe in whatever they want to believe. They can align with whoever they want to align with, and what have you. For example, how many bank CEOs have you seen that have their children working in the same bank? All right. A lot of them work in other banks and what have you. So people have a right to align. But from my own lens, the question I ask is, why will he want to prefer the APC over...
Just a few months to the elections.
Yes, over the ADC. Maybe he has also sat to look at the promises from both parties. All right? Which party is more stable? Which party has better prospect of winning? Because at the end, everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to be part of the winning team. All right? And he has done his own calculations, and he feels that APC is the best place that will serve him. Atiku also has another son in Adamawa who is a commissioner under a PDP government. He wouldn't say because his father is he has moved to the APC, he would resign from Fintiri's administration to go join his father in ADC, in the ADC. So we must have to respect that. And before now, we've also seen this happen. The previous administration, you had Buba Galadima in NNPP, and you also have his daughter in APC. All right. We've also had different politicians having. You had the Bukola Saraki, the Bemi Saraki, and the Saraki father himself. So people do what works best for him, and all we can do is wish him luck. But we cannot begin to read meaning into this or begin to say, okay, what will the international community think about this? Because they also believe that everybody should align with wherever they want to align with, and we just wish them luck.
Okay, for me, looking at where we stand today in the community of nations, especially around the continent, we pride ourselves to be the big brother of Africa. But are we still truly that big brother in Africa? Because looking at everything that is happening in the country, the world is watching. How do you explain that we couldn't tackle insecurity? We needed the aid of America. It took the intervention of America to subside what we have always known. Don't tell me this government or our government do not have intelligence. Today, they are boasting in the fact that it was a joint collaboration. You knew you can. So why didn't you take the lead all this while? Why did you need the intervention of a sitting president of another country before an action is taken? A few years ago, when there is any coup across Africa and Nigeria steps in, it is doused. How many countries within the African continent today is being governed by the military? What have we done? We are bulldogs now. We're back. We don't bite anymore. We are losing it. And let's tell ourselves the truth. The politicians and leaders are the face of this country as of today. Whilst the young people are doing so much to put this country in a good light through music, through entertainment, through arts, through we have some good people out there. Look at the Okonjos, look at the Mohammeds, look at the Amanda and co. They are doing well. But whilst we do that, what are our leaders doing? What are our politicians doing to support what these people are doing? We are in the news for the wrong reasons. It's either we are going against democratic tenets or we are not playing by the books. One thing here, one thing there. It's high time we turn back to the drawing table and tell ourselves the truth. What do we want for ourselves as a nation? Because all of these things put together is actually what determines how we are viewed across the world. Some of the things even the Trump is doing is not because he should or has what it takes to do them, but he's sending a signal across the world. We are still in charge. We're still the America you know. You can say anything you want to say about him, but what he tells the world is we are still the world power. That's what he's doing. Can our country today, can our leaders today tell us what waves we are sending across Africa? Is it in the economy? Is it in politics? Is it in leadership? What waves are we sending across? Whilst it may not do so much, the world is looking up to us. I've had people who, I was recently in a conference in Benin Republic, and some people were excited. Once Nigeria is in the room is littered. Once Nigeria is here, everything. That's what we used to be as of today. Is that what we are as of today?
That's a big question.
That's a question we need to answer as of today. And our leaders should champion this conversation because it is their actions and inactions that is giving us away.
Okay, because of time, as we begin to round up, we have just 5 minutes to go, more or less, on the show. Prof, I want to ask you, as we move into the election period, of course, we've seen all the unfolding so far. We can't shy away from the Nigerian youth. this nation rides on the shoulders of the youth, as it were. What's your message to the Nigerian youth, our focus for the Nigerian youth towards this new dispensation that we're walking into in terms of leadership, those in governance, and I would want your take. What message do you, that's your camera there.
Yeah, my direct message to Nigerian youth is that we must learn from history. All right, we must learn from history and know that 2027 should not be about sentiments. It should not be about, it should not be born out of frustration or our perceived frustration. All right, you know, during the election period, a lot of people build castles in the skies and they tell you, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, but they do not know how to do it. They do not have a blueprint on how to do it. They don't know how to even assemble the right stakeholders to do that. All right, and what that leads to is frustration. That is when you see when we have the new leadership that they voted for, because they had been expecting so much. All right, they are frustrated after 6 months, 1 year, because what they envisaged was going to happen is no longer happening. So they should ask the right question. Oh, you say you want you want to rescue Nigeria from the APC. They should tell us how they are going to do it. How they are going to do it. Do they have a blueprint? And if they don't have clear blueprint and there is no clarity about how they are going to do it, it's better we remain where we are and continue with the renewed hope. You understand? Yes, so that somebody would not have a frustrated country 6 months after election because the people who said they are going to rescue Nigeria, they could not even, don't even know how to begin to rescue Nigeria.
Okay, Ambassador, over to you. I know you have something to say. What's your message to the Nigerian youth as we work towards 2027? The election year is here. What should be the aim, the focus, the plan? So we do not sit down here again and begin to cry, complain, because how do they say it? What we asked for, no, what we ordered is not what So please.
Okay. My message has always been simple. Whenever I'm on this platform and even outside, we should begin to take responsibility.
How do we take responsibility as Nigerian youth?
Get involved.
Okay.
Get involved. We have this voter apathy currently because we feel it wouldn't count. But get involved. We should begin to take ownership of the process. As much as we can, get involved in the process. Let's unite with one voice. As young people, we are too divided. Let's unite with one voice. What do we want to see for our country, Nigeria? What do we want to see in the next 2-3 years? Whilst we unite with one voice, we can be able to identify who comes close to what we want to see. But staying away and shying away from the process because you think your vote doesn't count gives the politicians and our leaders an edge to do whatever they want to do and then sit tight in office. So if we're not comfortable, we know what we want, let's go out there. I'm not an advocate for anyone. I don't even have any leader in mind that I want to see come 2027. I wish this set of leaders are not even in place at all. And we have new breeds with new mindsets. So let's begin. Beginning with the FCT elections that is just around the corner. Let's unite. Let's see more young people in the process. Let's begin to do the things we want to see. And for me, leadership is not about positions. Leadership is about taking responsibility from your little community. What are you doing in your sphere? We have so much expectations from leaders. They should come down and clean our streets. They should come down and pack the dead. Those things we can do. So let's begin to take ownership of leadership. Let's be responsible. Let's start from our little community. It's a responsibility of everybody.
Okay.
And so, for me, that's my take. And I feel when we begin to do that, you do yours, I do mine, he does his. Leadership begins to evolve.
All right, 30 seconds. We are done with the interviews today, but you know the way we do it. I don't know if you're going to decline the last time you did. In your dialect. In your dialect. For 30 seconds.
The way you said,
I'm in Nigeria.
So, I thought I was the only person. Okay. Now, this is a clear case of you fall my hand. This is a clear case of you fall my hand.
Just forgive us. We'll
Before people begin to say he's sounding like this because he's from
Okay. I want to appreciate my guest this morning as we discuss 2027 Atiku Sons Defection to the APC analysis of Nigeria's political narrative. I want to appreciate my guest because we're done with the show this morning. Ambassador Jeremiah E.B. Agala, who is a political analyst. I appreciate you for being on the show.
Thank you
and
so
Professor Christopher Chinedumuije, thank you so much for being on the show this morning. I appreciate you plenty. And for my guests from the house, those of you watching the show who refuse to call, I appreciate you too for watching, because I know that you're watching. Next week is a date on the press, Monday to Friday. Please do stay with us, watch the show. You can watch all the episodes on YouTube. You can also drop your questions and comments right there on the comment section, and we will give you feedback. I am Anire Binitie. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.